So I had a question from one of my clients the other day and said, okay, what's the difference between a spiritual life and a meaningful life? Almost zero is the quick answer. So really, spirituality explores who am I and, who and what am I, right? That's the deepest spiritual question that you could ask. And, in a meaningful life, we're curious about, well, what would it be like to live all of who I am? Because when you discover who you are, which is, of course, wholeness, completeness, uncontrivedness, the unborn perfection of the world, if you will, as in Buddha language, um, that natural great peace that we're all connected to, that nature that is exploding right now with all us. We're so leaving it alone, it's naturally coming back. Well, that's also us. So that's who we are. But what are we about? Well, we're about expressing that. And in a meaningful life, we're expressing that into three areas of our life: in our relationship with ourselves, in our relationship with others, and in our relationship with our work, our service to humanity. So when we discover that ground of beingness, which is who we are, no separation, all connected, then we want to fully express that in a natural way, a purposeful way, a way of serving humanity. To not do that, it kind of leaves us in kind of this sort of erudite, kind of ivory tower of spirituality, which is not really engaged. It's not an engaged spirituality. It's not an engaged, meaningful life. It's kind of a retreated, I'm just going to do my own thing. So the way I understand spiritual life and meaningful life is that who you are is here. You discover that. But if you don't know who you are, this is the way to understand it. If you don't know who and what you are, then what you can do, the next best question is to ask, well, what is it that I want? Right? What is it that I want? And in these three areas, the relationship with self, relationship with others, and the relationship with your work, right? What does that look like? What does that smell like? Well, we all know that we want a certain vitality. We want intimacy. We want connection, right? And we want to have also some prosperity, some natural prosperity for who we really are, and be able to express that in something that is meaningful. Vitality, right? So, and when we discover that, when we get clear about what we want, what happens is we start to move that way, right? This makes sense. So when we move that way, that's good. That's our doing nature. That's one part of the story. Our being nature needs to be mobilized. So what we have to do then, what do we want? Well, then what will that then give us, right? Let's say that gives us, peace. That would give us peace. I would be at peace. I would be content. I would then know that my life had meaning, and I know that I would be able to relax into that. Well, the trick, the whole idea, the golden thread, if you will, that needs to happen is we need to bring this peace into your body now, which is what true meditation is. You need to, that peace is already inside of you. That peace that you want, that your mind says you got to go and create all these things to get. There's some truth in that, but there's also a deeper truth that if you want it, it comes from this deep place already. That ask, your desire, that longing is that you want that peace. And that peace you can rest into now, right? Natural great peace is available 24/7 and all the way along. And even after you get there, when you keep going, it's always available. Our wholeness, our completeness, our uncontrivedness, the unborn, the beauty of who and what you are is already here. While you also bring it to something that has meaning and something that has value for you. Bring it to your family, bring it to meaningful work, bring it to a meaningful need in the world. Poverty, women's empowerment, doing research into COVID, So does this make sense? So there's two things that go on, and when you do both of these things really well, you are resting into now what you already are, right? So you're embodying that now. And by the way, there, of course, there's the dragon that comes along here. There's like stuff that comes along. Well, those are things that you want to meet. You want to be relationship addiction patterns and old saggy energies, or it's, you know, relationship with yourself and depression and anxiety because of family stories that you've inherited that you can't get out of the grips of, or whether you're talking about work that you're not feeling on purpose or what have you. By the way, there's nothing but purpose in each of these areas, right? There's a purpose for us, and the fourth purpose is for us to rest into the natural great peace now. Right? That's what Eckhart Tolle talks about. Right? That's Adyashanti's work. That's so many teachers talk about. Resting into the natural great peace of who we already are now, because that's what we are, and bring it to the village. Right? Bring it to our local global village. And then we're going to bump into the resistor, the resistances, right? And then we're going to work through that with good holistic psychotherapy or meditation. We're going to bring it into our body. Where is that in our body? We're going to get even more aliveness on the way to Freedom Mountain. These mean-spirited roadside houses of resistance, of challenge, of depression and anxiety and relationship disruption and bankruptcies and job changes and divorces and cancers and all these things, they're just allowing us to deepen our relationship. They're not supposed to be there. No, life is, you're supposed to run into stuff. Shite, as we say in Ireland, you know? And then by working with it, what doesn't belong anymore starts to leave. Those symptoms will go because you've embodied it. You got the teaching around it. Right? This is so good, right? It's a meaningful life. It's a spiritual life. It's a life of consequence. It's a life of contribution. It's a life that matters. Purpose in ourselves to awaken this now. Purpose with others to bring that awakefulness to other people. Purpose in our work to bring that to our work, our colleagues, our right? And then the deepest purpose, of course, is that we are resting into that now. Anyway, I wanted to share that, but this beautiful peace starts to ripple out then into your life. You know, it just goes everywhere, right? Everywhere. That's everywhere. Should we do an infinity sign there or something? I don't know. You get the picture. That's a spiritual life. Being who you are, what you're all about, and stepping into the vitality, intimacy, and prosperity and peace that is already inside of you. Wanted to share that. Bye for now.